Baseball, being one of America's most valued sports, is very polarizing between passionate fans and everyone else who claims it to be the most boring sport ever. I personally disagree because I grew up playing and watching baseball, although I can see where they're coming from. But this current MLB season is one for the ages based on the number of rule changes to keep things more exciting and fast-paced during the regular season. Although playoff baseball is a behemoth on its own, it is amazing. I, your favorite heterochromatic skeleton with real hair, is a Kansas City Royals fan. We are suffering. 2015 was amazing, and I think that's the reason why we're suffering so hard. But let's transition from real life to fictional hypothetical fantasies known as video games. Baseball video games are a mixed bag, from your traditional MLB The Show's, MVP Baseball, NCAA Baseball, to the 1983 cult classic on the NES. Baseball. We don't get that many original baseball games anymore. You'll most likely see them in some type of minigame collection or compilation sports games or something similar. Baseball games aren't as prominent as they once were, even though they've been living in the shadows of NFL and NBA video games for as long as I can remember. And MLB The Show is the only sign of life when it comes to baseball video games, and those are a mixed bag on their own. But moving away from simulations of real life, let's talk about plumbers. So Nintendo has a legendary history of Mario sports games, but you had to start off a little rough with this abomination, but luckily it was soon be overpowered by Mario Tennis and Mario Golf on the N64. Also, I'm aware that I'm stuck in a billboard for the time being. Don't worry, no one is driving by because I'm in the middle of nowhere trying to promote myself. This was all I could afford, so I just went with it. Anyway, while tennis and golf have the same gameplay of hitting balls to win, we're talking about baseball, so let's fast forward to 2005. Mario Superstar Baseball was the debut of putting Mario on the diamond field and trying not to peg a shy guy in a mask with a baseball. This was the start of something special. Some great extra content, awesome story, fun and addicting gameplay. If Nintendo were to make another, what would they do to make it more distinct from the GameCube classic? Let's find out. Okay, so there isn't much development history that's been documented on this game that I know of, so it's possible I'm missing out on a lot of information, but the only pieces I was able to find was Namco Bandai developing and the release dates. The game was announced and shown off at E3 2008, but I couldn't find anything else except this one trailer. I am so sorry. It is unfortunate, but I believe that goes to show that development was mostly a smooth process, or it was a complete dumpster fire that managed to come out as good as it is. Mario Super Sluggers was released on the Nintendo Wii first in Japan on June 19, 2008, July 12, 2008 in Taiwan, which is a surprise on its own, and August 25, 2008 in North America, as well as being part of Nintendo Selects in North America on May 15, 2011, and will later become a digital download option for the Wii U eShop on March 31, 2016 in North America and August 17, 2016 in Japan. Now the elephant in the room must be addressed, as this game was never released in Europe and Australia, but apparently is due to baseball not being a popular sport in those areas of the world, and that makes a lot of sense. Japan and North America love baseball, so giving those specific regions of the world access to this game is warranted in my opinion. Even as time went by, Sluggers never made it to other countries, not even on the Wii U, so in 2016 through 2023, if you had a PAL Wii U, you won't find Mario Super Sluggers in the eShop. Very interesting things going on here, although because of the limited areas you'll find this game, it wouldn't become a top 15 seller on the Wii. Hell, it's just outside of the top 30, being the 31st highest selling Wii game at 2.32 million copies sold. Also, I know this is off topic, but it's something that really surprises me. Deca Sports sold more copies than Mario Sports Mix. I don't know what's going on with humanity, something's wrong. Sluggers hardly got any promotion and advertising other than E3, so it seems like it didn't get as much buzz as other Wii games at the time. But when it was time for reviews to come in, very mixed reception, but more positive than negative. A GameSpot reviewer praised Sluggers for the stiff competition of CPUs at higher difficulties, the roster building, and using character chemistry to your advantage, as well as a fun multiplayer experience, although they criticized the production value not being as high as Superstar Baseball, gameplay being less challenging and complex than Superstar Baseball, and there's no good alternative for motion controls. Very fair critiques alongside some good praise, although this person did call specific fans collect them all Mario files. I feel like making a diss track now, just you wait until I get out of the hellhole billboard I'm in. Also, here's the logo for the game in Japan. I really appreciate this as a fan of this game. It's clear to who this game was targeted towards, fans of Mario sports and fans of baseball. So let's talk about the younger brother of Mario Superstar Baseball and see if it can overtake the family business and be just as successful. This is Mario Super Sluggers. Alright, so booting up the game for the first time is something I wish I can experience for the first time again, because this opening cutscene is one of my favorites in any Mario sports game. It quickly and effectively shows off what this game is all about, and it's super goofy as well. Lots of action, it's fun to watch, and it's not too bloated trying to show off too much at once. A lot of characters get their time in the sun, and do they take advantage of that small window? We see the 5 main fields we get to play in. Every captain and every scene is set around the main game that's taking place in Mario Stadium. Everything blends in perfectly with clean transitions from scene to scene, and I believe it's what every future opening cutscene should be in a Mario sports game. Also, I'm gonna quickly push my glasses up for a second. In the final scene where DK destroys Mario's pitch, Yoshi clearly catches it before it touches the ground, so DK should be out anyway. You could argue that it touches the ground when it rises up like a blitzball riser, but it never did, although DK apparently doesn't care because he socked Luigi in the face. But my homie got the last laugh, you stupid ape. Anyway, getting past the title screen, we come across 3 different files, and yeah, don't mind this one. My Wii was hacked and I can't change it or else I'll be stuck in this billboard forever. So my general first reaction to watching the opening cutscene makes me excited to knock balls out of the park with the weakest characters in the game. Never have I been more giddy watching demo gameplay than Mario Super Sluggers, but enough stupid theatrics, let's jump in. Welcome to the Baseball Kingdom, a gorgeous and expansive island where you must play baseball by law or else. Think Magic Kingdom or Epcot as a baseball island in the middle of the ocean. So before we get into the environments, let's start with the gameplay. This is a Nintendo published first party game on the Wii. If you believe that motion controls wouldn't be mandatory, there's nothing wrong with seeking therapeutic help. Yes, motion controls is the sole control method for this game. There's no way to connect a Wii Classic controller just to play with buttons unless you play this game on Dolphin Emulator. All the power to you if you somehow manage that. So we got 3 controller methods to play with. The Wii Remote upright, which means motion controls all the way alongside some limitations we'll go over in a bit. The Wii Remote on its side so you can press buttons, but it's not a GameCube controller, so it doesn't feel as consistent as motion controls, but you have more room to work with when playing on both sides of the field. The last option is playing with the Wii Remote and Nunchuck, which I believe to be the most flexible option because you get all the extra gameplay elements at the cost of playing with motion controls. Let's go a little bit deeper into these controller options, because if you pick one over the others, then you're most likely to stick with that option for as long as you play, with the occasional switch up every now and then. Playing with just the Wii Remote and motion controls keeps you away from a lot of aspects of the gameplay. Here's everything you can't do when playing with just the Wii Remote. So when you're at bat or on the mound, you can't move your character left or right. You can't steal bases, you can't control your character's movement because they run automatically while fielding and running. You also can't determine how you want to control base running, as you can't get risky with it. There are a lot of limitations and you're missing out on a bunch of different gameplay elements, and it also makes said gameplay feel automated sometimes, and it's very one-dimensional. Like I said earlier, you get access to all these extra gameplay elements with the Wii Remote on its side or with the Nunchuck connected, and it gives you the ultimate experience because you're not limited to what you can do on both sides of the field, but it's up to you as the player how you want to play. I've played this game for a long time and I've always used the standard Wii Remote. I was limiting myself for years, not being able to use 70% of the gameplay I was missing out on, and I hate that it took a whole review for me to play like this. I might be a fraud. The gameplay is smooth, animation is fluid and expressive, moving around the field is seamless. It's a great time, and with motion controls being the only way of playing, it still controls great. There are other gameplay elements, but I'll mention them when they're most relevant, but for now let's move on to our first game mode. So we got 6 different game modes to choose from. We're gonna start off with the most standard exhibition mode. Play baseball however you want, wherever you want, with whatever characters you want. So first things first, pick the stadium you want to play. Then you pick one of 12 team captains, and then you can build your squad from there. After you pick characters, then you can customize your batting lineup and where you want to put them on the field. Luckily for every type of viewer that's coming to the channel, which means returning viewers and new viewers, there's nothing to go extra deep into. No character exceeds at a specific position on the field or being in a specific part of the lineup unless the game tells you. For example, the game automatically puts Yoshi first up to bat. You can obviously change this if you want to, but if you choose to randomize the batting lineup and field positions, you'll see certain characters in certain areas. It's up to you whether or not you want to change that. After you finish that process, you can change the number of innings you want to play, turn on or off items, mercy rule, and star powers. Then you play the game like normal, so let's hope you can be a level 1 CPU. Baseball venues are important because players need a place to play, fans need a place to watch, and everyone else is gonna watch from home. Mario Superstar baseball stadiums were really cool, and they represented the team captains very well. Sluggers Stadiums is a sequel story. What could possibly be next? Well, let's talk about it. So there's a total of 9 stadiums in this game, 5 from the get-go and 4 unlockables. Every stadium has their own gimmicks that that affect gameplay. You know, the funny thing about that is that Mario Stadium is where I admit that I lied, because this is the only stadium that has no gimmicks. Traditional baseball is to be played with no shenanigans. I love the area as it feels authentic to real life baseball, except you can blow up a player in right field to secure a home run. Nothing too special going on here, but everything else is where things get fucked in a fun way. Yes, I'm still talking about Mario here. So let's start off with Yoshi Park. Think if Knott's Berry Farm was turned into a baseball stadium with a Shy Guy pirate ship. We got two gimmicks. First up is the pipes. If the baseball somehow falls into one, it will transport to another pipe on the field. It is a rare occurrence, but it can and will happen at the most unexpected time. The next gimmick is a bit further out, as there's a train in the outfield and it will run you over. The Yoshi train gives equal drive-bys to everyone and won't hold back against a baby. DK Jungle is very on the nose and simple. Here there are some flowers on the field that'll give you all the lust you could possibly ask for at the cost of extremely bad allergies. The next gimmick is similar to the train from Yoshi Park, but it's more flexible and avoidable, even though at times if you're in the wrong position, be prepared for an inside the park home run. Random barrels that Donkey Kong can't destroy for some reason. The opening movie was a lie, I've been deceived. Wario City is a beautifully characteristic concept for a Wario type environment. Basically, if he had his own city, he would have a huge building with his snazzy self leaping out of it in the outfield, although it gives me hotel vibes. Hotel Wario, Nintendo, make it a thing. Imagine driving around and seeing part of downtown blocked off because there's a baseball game being played in the streets. You gotta look out for potholes because if you get close enough, you're gonna get wet, and not in the kind that ladies enjoy. Also, the water is so powerful, it'll knock you back without even moving, which means it's on par with a tsunami, if not stronger. Also, be aware of these arrows in the street because if the ball touches those arrows, it's gonna swing in that direction and break your ankles, giving base runners more time to head to the next base. It's great when it happens to the opposite team, but it can hurt in prime time if you're not careful. Also, imagine sliding head first into second base on concrete. Next up is Peach's Ice Garden, probably the most overpowered stadium in the entire game. Not only do fielders have to deal with ice physics, but the outfield is massive. Without a doubt, the biggest out of every other stadium. If you hit the ball just right and use the items given to you, that gives you the opportunity to achieve the inside the park home run. I literally just mentioned it a minute ago. It's a home run that doesn't go over the fence in the outfield and the runners sprint around the bases and they manage to get back home before the defense can make a play. It can be even more common if you have faster characters on your team. Also, beware of the iceberg sliding around because if you touch it once, you're frozen for like 3 seconds. And you're gonna feel those 3 seconds, even though these can be countered by just throwing the ball at them or items, as well as players being able to ram head first into them to break them and avoid getting frozen. I enjoy this elegant environment and I've always liked ice representation in fiction. So those are the 5 stadiums you start off with. We got 4 more to go over and we have to unlock them through the story mode. Bowser Jr.'s playroom is another characteristic area. It's the antithesis of spoiled children who get everything they want but truly believe it's not enough. Just imagine if you had a playroom like this when you were younger. I would never go outside, even though I don't do that anyway. Either way, after hitting the ball in the outfield, if it lands on a chain chomp or bullet bill, it will manifest into real life and come after you. So be aware because there isn't a warning sign anywhere. Next up is Daisy Cruiser, a different take on a cruise ship. Instead of being able to race around, turn it into a baseball field. We play on the main deck outside and there's a goober blooper infestation in the water at night because every other inning it'll spawn, grab the boat and tilt it either right or left, and it will stay like that until the next inning. So basically you're playing on a damn near sinking ship, which is a very interesting idea while playing on both sides of the field. Bowser's Castle is interesting. To me, it's very basic on the surface. I love the environment, but when it comes to the gimmicks, I believe it's more tame than you would think for a Bowser Castle area, but it's still very effective. It just doesn't feel like it's there all the time. We got King Bomb Bomb in a Koopa Clown car and he throws random bombs in the outfield. There are also random balls of lava that fall onto the field, and the giant Bowser head in the back of center field can breathe fire and burn you. Now on paper it seems like a lot and very intimidating to defend against, but it doesn't feel like these elements trigger as often as you would believe. Now when they do, they can change the pace of the game, but it doesn't hit as hard as it should. It's a great area, but the gimmicks are pretty lackluster to me. The final stadium was a big surprise when I first unlocked it, and that's Luigi's Mansion. One visual aspect I really enjoy about this stadium is the lighting. It makes the whole area feel more eerie with a dark and creepy atmosphere, and I like the glow that reflects off the characters in the infield. Now moving on to gameplay. If the baseball finds its way into the outfield and phases through these gravestones, it'll trigger a small purple area, and if the fielders run into said area, some ghosts will spook them, and that allows for the base runners to keep running. It represents Luigi's Mansion very well, just like every other stage similar in other spin-off games. With this being the era where Nintendo gave a damn about their games, the stadiums and Sluggers are great with their own charming characteristics and unique unique gameplay elements. The variety is nice, as well as being able to play most of these stadiums at night, and they look amazing during this time of the day. And I believe 9 is a good number to leave it with. I like all of them, but prefer some more than others, so Bowser's Castle, DK Jungle, Yoshi Park, Luigi's Mansion, Mario Stadium, Daisy Cruiser, Bowser Jr.'s Playroom, Wario City, Peach's Ice Garden. Am I trying to be cheeky? Kinda, but let's move on. Remember when I said that character lineups and positions don't matter? Well, that was kind of a half lie. Allow me to explain. Mario Super Sluggers has a similar roster of characters from the previous game, and the general system is similar as well. We got 12 main characters and they are all captains. You must pick one captain for each team, and then you pick the other 8 characters. In this game, there's a chemistry system where specific characters will have chemistry with each other, and that will affect the gameplay while at bat or on defense. And I'm pretty sure this was in Superstar Baseball, but it wasn't as fleshed out. Let me give you an example. If Mario's at the plate for his at bat and Princess Peach is next up to bat, she gets to roll an item and throw it onto the field to give Mario a chance to keep running the bases. On defense, it's a lot different. First up is the buddy toss. You have to knock the ball to your teammate, and then you'll throw a rocket into the infield and hopefully get the runner out. The second ability is the buddy jump. If the batter is about to hit a home run, if you have 2 characters in the outfield with chemistry, they'll gather at the back of the fence, and one of them will bounce off the other to try to catch the ball to avoid the home run. Slugger's chemistry system is a nice strategy to keep in mind, and you want to build your lineup based on chemistry so you can get as many items as possible, and also thinking about where you want to put specific characters on the field. But if you don't give a single damn about strategy, then pick whoever you want. No rules on how to build your own team. Now let's get into the actual characters themselves. This is going to be tough, but I have an idea. I'm going to spoil the story a little bit, but I have to for this segment. So in the challenge mode, there are 6 different teams with characters as a part of that affiliation, starting with the main character himself, Mario, captain of the Mario Fireballs, a balanced team with no weaknesses. This team consists of Luigi, captain of the Luigi Knights, alongside Piantas for power, Baby Mario, Baby Luigi, and Nokis for speed, as well as a Blooper for pitching, and Monty Mole as a wild card. You can't go wrong with this team, as they got options for every situation on offense and defense. Next up are the speedsters of the Southeast, the Yoshi Eggs. Rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it? 6 different Yoshis who are very fast, but each one excels in a different area of the field. Red Yoshi's the all-arounder, Blue Yoshi with a good arm for pitching, Yellow and Light Blue Yoshi are better at the plate, even though their stats are lying about that, and Pink Yoshi is extra speedy. This specific element goes for every other color variation of certain characters. We also have Birdo, captain of the Birdo Bows. As she is in other Mario sports games, she's an offensive powerhouse with the bat and a great fielder. 5 Shy Guys who also excel at defense. Red Shy Guy is balanced, Blue Shy Guy is a good pitcher, Yellow Shy Guy is a great runner ready to steal the bases, Green Shy Guy is a great batter, and Black Shy Guy is the best fielder of the 5, so he lives for defense. I know it's Gray Shy Guy, but come on Nintendo, be a little bit edgy. The last character of this team is Wiggler, who is more than exceptional at the plate and running the bases. If you like going fast without doing drugs, Yoshi's team is for you. The guy who has a whole city named after him is next up, the Wario Muscles. They excel in defense and trickery. Wario himself may be a powerful batter, but he seems to be more of a contact hitter who puts the ball into play instead of over the fence in the outfield, although he can definitely do that whenever he wants. Waluigi, captain of the Waluigi Trash Cans, is a solid pitcher and fielder, so he performs best on defense. This team is accompanied by Boo and King Boo. Good old normal Boo being one of the best pitchers in the game, and King Boo also great at throwing the ball, but a much better batter. We also got 2 Koopas, one who is better in the field and one who is better on the mound. The same thing goes for 2 Paratroopas, except one is better at batting than pitching, but both are great defenders. And to wrap up this team that reeks of garlic, Goomba, who specializes in getting on base from bunting, and Paragoomba is a defensive monster, especially in the infield. Also, I love Goomba's character in this game. He's so nice, he just wants to vibe. He's nowhere near evil as Nintendo wants us to think from the mainline games. He's just a chill guy, and I really appreciate that. So Wario's muscles can put the ball into play, get on base, and trick you up on defense as well as on the mound, especially with Boo or King Boo being the primary pitchers. This next team is a wild one, and that's low-key a pun because I'm talking about the DK Wilds. Why is it plural? I have no idea. This team is all about power in the batter's box and defense out in the field. Donkey Kong is one of the strongest characters in the game, so you can expect a lot of homers. Just don't hit him while pitching, cause that boxing glove will come to you before you can say new funky mode. Diddy Kong is the captain of the Diddy Monkeys. Very characteristic. He's an agile little bastard who can get any ball he wants on the field. A great defender whether you put him in the outfield or by the bases. Dixie Kong is just as good at defending, but she's got a big speed boost over Diddy, so she makes for a better base runner. Speaking of funky mode, another monster at the plate, as he's one of my favorite characters to play. And I say he's an underrated defender mainly because they're a better option, but don't sleep on our favorite Nintendo ape. I have some bad news for the 3 fans of Donkey Kong Barrel Blast. I'm sorry, but Candy Kong didn't make it. Let me tell you something, she could have been the worst character in the game for all I know, but sales would have been off the charts high. But Nintendo's substitute is a low-key DK legacy character, and that's Tiny Kong. Talk about a glow-up. She's a well-rounded player who can do everything at a decent level, but just like every other ape, she's a great defender. Here comes another surprise, Baby Donkey Kong. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to assume this is the debut of this character. I might be forgetting something super obscure he was in back in the day, but my consciousness only goes back as far as 2005. If you guessed he was a good defender, you'd be correct and you wouldn't win anything. Then you'll be smarter than the average Candy Kong fan. Put these babies in the MLB because somehow he's better at batting than Dixie Kong, which is very concerning considering this is a fucking baby ape we're talking about. But I'm not gonna question it because Baby DK is awesome. These next 5 characters are the enemy team of DK and crew known as King K. Rool and his team of 4 critters. All the critters were born to defend a baseball field. The original critter is the most balanced, blue critter is good on the mound, red critter lives for hitting dingers, and brown critter is the fastest out of all of them, even though he is slower compared to actual fast characters. Finally, we get to Big Bad King K. Rool, who is debatably the strongest character in the game, but he's without a doubt the slowest character because you can't even see his running stat. It doesn't exist. So Donkey Kong's team is mainly dependent on who you use. You can go full defense with a bit of speed, or just forget about the speed and put it all into physical power. But just know that whenever you go up against this team, it's gonna be tough to score because of the elite defense, so be aware of that. Next up is Princess Peach, captain of the Peach Monarchs, an insanely defensive team more so than DK's squad, and they also love pitching the ball as they have some of the best pitchers in the game. Princess Peach and Daisy are very similar as they're great fielders and decent runners, but Peach is the better pitcher while Daisy is better at the plate. Next up we got 5 Toads to talk about, and I want to give a quick rest in peace to the OG Toad who is not in this game, as the Toad, with Red Toad taking his place, is the better pitcher out of the 5. Blue Toad is an all-arounder with a nice bat, Yellow Toad is the better fielder, Green Toad is the most balanced, and Purple Toad also has a great bat. Don't worry, this was way before the Nintendo Toad epidemic of 2015. Toadette is next up, and she's a speed demon ready to steal every single base. Toadsworth. When was the last time you saw Toadsworth in any Mario game since Sluggers? He has mastered the art of pitching a baseball, except after 2 pitches he wants to go back to Isle Delfino and sleep. Baby Peach takes after her older self. She's a great pitcher with an insanely slow curve that'll have you waiting forever, and then once it gets to you it's already in the catcher's glove before you can process the thought of swinging. Baby Daisy's another great pitcher, and she's a lot more balanced out of this crew. And finally, one of the most out there characters for a team like this, Petey Piranha. Nothing but power, as he's another candidate for most powerful in the game. He wants nothing but to hit home runs and aim for the fences every time he's at bat, although that makes him a very one-dimensional player and you know what to expect out of him, especially on defense if you're going up against him. I can see Petey on Yoshi's team, but I'm not going to speculate what could have been scenarios with Petey Piranha of all characters. Our final team is the evil of all evil, King Bowser, captain of the Bowser Monsters. This team specializes in power and balance. They have everything from hard hitters like Bowser himself, Dark Bones, Hammer Bro, Fire Bro, and Boomerang Bro, amazing pitching and fielding with the Dry Bones trio and 4 Magic Koopas, although they only lack in speed as Bowser Jr. is the team's fastest runner, so it's harder for them to get around the bases and across the field. Bowser Jr., also being captain of the Bowser Jr. Rookies, has a great swing, decent arm on the mound, and fast on his feet. Good for every situation you can think of. So this team can kill you nearly everywhere on the field, but if you force them to run, that'll be pretty effective. Next up, let's talk about the Miis. Obviously you can play them in this game, but you can't alter their stats nor can you customize their gear. They have balanced stats in every category, which makes them decent everywhere, although their designs in this game are very interesting. They look like advanced Lego figures, or if Nintendo made something similar to Legos before Legos was a thing. They don't look bad, but they stand out a lot. Also, depending on what color you give your Mii and Mii Maker, they'll have chemistry with characters of that color, as well as Miis who have the same color. So my homie Rusty here, alongside other Miis with red, will have chemistry with these characters. Pretty cool, huh? I like that they gave Miis the ability to have chemistry in this game, and to me it makes them feel more important to a team instead of just existing with nothing to offer. When you take a look at this roster, it's still really big with lots of variety and a bunch of characters, with the majority of them we don't see as much in spin-offs, or we just haven't seen them again after Sluggers, which is a good number unfortunately. So if we take into consideration every color variation of certain characters and exclude Miis, there is a total of 71 characters in this game. But if we take away those color variations and just just stick with one version of said character with different color options, that number goes down to a more realistic 40 characters, which is still great, especially for a baseball game where you have to have a total of 18 players for every match. But there's more to these characters than their stats, and those are special abilities. These are star powers. They can be used at any time during offense or defense. Both teams have a star meter, and once it gets filled up, you can activate your star power whether you're pitching or at bat. All 12 captains have unique abilities when pitching and batting, while every other character can use the star meter, but they don't get a special cutscene like the captains, because obviously they're not special, right? But every character has a special ability for either fielding or base running to save themselves in certain situations. For fieldings, you got abilities that can help keep the ball from threading the needle into the outfield by diving for the ball, but characters like Yoshi, Birdo, Magic Koopa have their own abilities that act as a dive, but they're able to catch the ball at a certain distance to keep it away from the outfield and allowing a hit. You got super jumps for Luigi, his baby counterpart, Parachupa and Paragoomba. The Nokis and Goomba being able to run faster with the ball in their possession. The Kongs have the most unique ability that allows them to climb walls to catch deep line drives that could possibly turn into home runs. These plays can be the saving grace, especially if a game is close, and they're very satisfying to pull off. Now, base running is very interesting, and I'll make this quick. There's an element of the base running gameplay that can happen at third base and home plate. If the fielder throws to either spots and the base runner is at a certain distance, this triggers a close play, where you have to press whatever button shows up faster than the other. If you're faster than your opponent, you win. Think of it as a Nintendo-fied rock, paper, scissors, but instead of 3 options, there's 2, so it's 50-50, and the prompt shows up, but you have to be faster than your opponent. You don't see these plays often, but if you play extremely risky, you'll come across these plays a lot. Alright, that's it for characters. I love this cast. Endless possibilities for lineups. You can build your dream team of Captain Wario, Birdo, 3 Toads, a Critter, Dixie Kong, and 2 Nokis, and grab a dub. The amount of variety gives this game a ton of replay value, and we haven't even gotten to the rest of the game modes yet, so let's get on with it. I am a simple skeleton man on the outside, but very complex in the mind. That sounds really bad, let's move on. Now we get to one of my favorite modes in any Mario spin-off, Sluggers' own challenge mode. This is where you travel all around the baseball kingdom, recruit ball players to become a part of your all-star group. I love how expansive this mode is, from different ways to unlocking characters, captain-specific puzzles, and everything in between. I love exploring every stadium in its entirety. Mario Stadium's tropical beach area reminiscent of Sunshine, Peach's ice garden with a beautiful floral environment, Yoshi Park actually being an amusement park, DK Jungle's nostalgic feeling of the classic SNES games, and Wario City's semi-New York feeling. It's a shame we're not allowed to explore Daisy Cruiser, Bowser Jr.'s Playroom, Bowser's Castle, and Luigi's Mansion, but I like that you have to unlock them as playable stadiums through this mode. I'm not gonna go super deep into the story, but I will mention a few things every now and then, so let's get into it. The general story is that everyone has been invited to the baseball kingdom to enjoy America's pastime, but Bowser Jr. quite literally crashes the party and invades the whole kingdom with the goal of taking over. A bunch of minions wreak havoc across the island in every field, and it's up to Mario and crew to defeat them. Scout and recruit other characters all throughout the island. Now, there are 2 ways to scout characters. Scout missions, where you have to prove your worth to these characters because it's not like there's an apocalypse happening, and there totally aren't any hostages in DK Jungle and Peach's Ice Garden who need my help right now, Noki. Complete the mission given to you and unlock that character to possibly be a part of your all-star group. The reason why I say possibly is because you're not guaranteed to take in 3 Nokis against Bowser and Bowser Jr. unless you're insane. The next type of mission are battle missions. These are basically scout missions against Bowser's minions. They block off puzzles, parts of the field, and even characters, so you have to beat these missions in order to make progress. There's a special type of battle mission you'll find in every field, and that's Bowser Jr. himself. He's up to his backflipping ways because he loves doing backflips in this game. He's most likely holding a character hostage, so defeat him in the mission to unlock that character. His missions are a little bit tougher than Bowser's other minions, but they're more than manageable. Once you recruit enough characters, you'll be able to challenge Bowser Jr. to a game of baseball. Although you don't have to immediately go after him, you can continue to recruit characters and challenge him whenever you're ready. Once you defeat him, the time of day changes and we see Bowser Jr.'s playroom transform into Bowser's Castle, which is a lie because it just gets replaced by Bowser's Castle. You can challenge the big turtle man whenever you want, or you can recruit the rest of the characters if you haven't yet. I really like that you aren't forced to fight these 2 and you have freedom to complete your roster. Also, you can literally unlock all 71 characters before you fight Bowser Jr. and then go up against Bowser immediately after, but I don't like doing that. I personally grab just over a quarter of the characters, fight Bowser Jr. and then complete the roster before going up against Bowser. But that's just me. Play however you want and keep it a secret. Let's talk about captains. So we got 5 captains we can control in this mode outside of playing baseball. They all have unique abilities abilities that allow them to access specific parts of every stadium. You have to unlock them in their stadium in order to use them. Starting off with Mario, he has the ability to call out to characters who are shaking in the bushes and do what apparently no other character can do: jump into pipes. Someone make it make sense for me. Next up is Yoshi. He can go through manholes, and if you see a shaking tree in the area, he can use his ground pound to get that character out of there. So that means Yoshi is more reliable than a fireman and a ladder. Peach has the same ability as Mario, where she can call out characters from possible hiding spots. It's really nothing else to her, which is unfortunate. DK has the ability to smash boxes and barrels alongside being able to climb up vines to reach certain areas that other captains can't get to. And finally, Wario, who is a greedy garlic lover, so if you come across any treasure chests, he's the only one who can open them. He also has a magnet for moving bigger objects Donkey Kong can't smash. Stupid ape. So the puzzle solving in this game is satisfying to pull off. Now, are these puzzles easy? On a first playthrough with no help, it can be tough, but you'll be able to figure them out eventually. But if you played this challenge mode a lot of times like myself, it's second nature, but still satisfying to pull off. This next topic in challenge mode is going to be more tame, but I can't just leave it out. But exclusively in this mode, you can buy items that enhance specific character stats when playing baseball. You can buy these in every shop you unlock, and when you're in character selection, you can assign any item to any character. We got 3 different bats. The nice bat gives you better contact shots that aren't charged. The power bat increases the power of charged swings. The charge bat gives you a full charge, so you won't have to wind up your Wii like you're about to punch someone in the face. Then we got more smaller items. One that enhances pitching, one that upgrades your speed, another that reduces the chance of errors and increase your arm strength when fielding, as well as the buddy badge, which creates chemistry with every character in your lineup. So if you have a character who doesn't have chemistry with anyone on the field, give them the buddy badge and they'll get access to the buddy moves and items when at bat. There's also a special item known as the superstar item, which enhances all of your stats in one item. I like the extra gameplay and semi-character customization the items bring to the gameplay, although I wish you were able to use these items during normal exhibition mode. But let's move on to the final edition I really enjoy, although this one is a lot smaller. Once you recruit every character part of a specific affiliation, you'll be able to face off against them in a game of baseball. You'll obviously have to switch captains and you'll lose access to 9 characters, but it's cool that you can go up against a team you basically recruited, and it's a nice way to test your skills after defeating Bowser. Or you can do it before going up against Bowser Jr. It's up to you. Also, whenever you defeat the Bowser monsters twice, you get access to that entire team as playable characters, and you can rematch Bowser in the 5 main teams whenever you want, which is nice. It does suck that you can't play full games against the main 5 teams or Bowser himself, but I guess you can still do that in exhibition mode if you want to. Oh, did I say I was done talking about challenge mode? I'm sorry, I really like this game mode. But another aspect you unlock, it's a very small addition, but it's gonna have a big impact on your future experience with this game. Basically, whatever characters you take into the game against Bowser will become a star player. This allows every stat for that character to be enhanced. It's as simple as this. It's free replay value because it encourages you to play more with different teams and experiment, which for me is right up my alley. And with that, it comes to the end of challenge mode. I'm gonna go to therapy now. So challenge mode is a bunch of fun. I love the process of recruiting characters and being able to play with an all-star group of your choice. But let's stray away from challenge mode and move on. So outside of traditional baseball, we got 9 mini games to mess around with. Every stadium has one mini game that represents the environments and themes. The random wheel selected Luigi's Mansion's Ghost K. Throw different pitches at ghosts to get points, and if you hit a ghost that's the same color you're assigned to, you'll get extra points. And by assigned color, basically as player 1, your color is red, so if you hit a red ghost, you get bonus points. Some ghosts will have either a star or a bob-omb attached to them. If you hit the star, you'll get even more extra points, and if you hit the bob-omb, say hello to your new physical form being South Park's version of Britney Spears. Next up is Blooper Base Run on Daisy Cruiser. Run around the bases and gather as many coins as possible, but you have to watch out for Gooper Blooper attacks. I told you there was an infestation. You can't jump over these, so you'll have to turn around or come to a complete stop if you want to stay alive. There are 3 variations of coins you can grab that give you a different number of coins, and if you grab the superstar, just run like there's a big black man chasing you. You'll be fine. Later that night, we head to Peach's Ice Garden for some wall ball. Here is where we have to use charge pitches to break through ice walls. There are 3 different walls to break. The general scoring depends on how many walls you break and the last wall that's broken. You also have to control your pitch through the meter to determine how hard you pitch. So what are these different walls you must break? The pink block gives you a big bonus if broken last. The green green block gives you a small bonus and the Bowser block penalizes you if broken last. Staying out late at night is a fun activity, so let's move on over to Bowser's Castle for some pinball. This is literally a game of pinball in a baseball setting and it's awesome. You as the player act as the bumpers of a traditional pinball machine or Sonic game, and you have to keep swinging at the iron ball that comes towards you and keep going from there until you run out of balls. I'm sorry, anything can happen, from hitting the Bowser statues to triggering slot machines to coin spawning and even the center Bowser logo's mouth opening. If the ball falls in, you lose that attempt, so you want to rack up as many points as possible. Now after a good night's sleep and waking up at 4 PM, we head to DK Jungle to play Barrel Bashers. To me, this is one of the more difficult minigames in this collection. There are a bunch of barrels rolling your way and you're protected by a barrier. Hit the ball at specific times to hit the barrels and prevent them from getting to you. Once the barrier is completely broken, it's game over. There are different types of barrels that'll give you a certain amount of points, and if you hit a bomb, it'll blow up all barrels in front of you. So make sure you don't miss, like every shot I don't take with women. 5 PM rolls around, and after getting out of the hospital for all those splinters you got in DK Jungle, we're headed down to Yoshi Park for some Piranha Panic. This is the most basic pitching minigame. All you have to do is throw a specific pitch at the Piranha Plant depending on its position, whether it be a fastball, curveball, or changeup. So pay attention and keep them as far away as possible. You also have access to the star gauge as it fills up with every successful pitch. Once you use your star pitch, you'll also hinder your competition's vision as the Piranha Plants decide to get high on gunpowder. 6 PM is here, and because it can be daytime or nighttime forever in the baseball kingdom, we're going up to Bowser Jr.'s playroom to play some graffiti runner. The paintbrush is the most prized possession here, and whoever possesses it will be able to paint all over the canvas, although the other players can hit you with items or with a quick dash attack to steal the brush from you. Whenever you're brushing, you have a limited amount of paint you can use before losing it, and once you do run out of paint, it's up for grabs for the rest of the players in contention. Whoever has the most points wins, except it should be whoever has the most paint on the canvas wins. A missed opportunity to create a baseball turf war. So after taking a 5-hour break, it's almost midnight, which means it's the perfect time to head to Mario Stadium for some bomb derby. This is literally a home run derby for Mario characters. Hit literal bombs and you'll see some beautiful fireworks. You get 10 pitches, so make the most of it. Although before every pitch, you get a slot machine that determines the speed of the bomb and direction the game wants you to hit it. If you hit the bomb in that direction, you'll get bonus points. If you don't, you'll still get points for hitting a valid home run. Although for some reason you can hit foul balls in this mode, which should be illegal by Baseball Kingdom law. You wake up the next day at around noon ready for the final minigame, so you make your way over to Wario City for some gem catch. Avoid error items and catch some beautiful looking gems, and try not to let Wario pressure you into giving them to him. There are different types of gems of different colors and sizes that give you a certain amount of points, and the big diamond must be acquired by a buddy jump. Score as many points as possible with a limited amount of gems coming at you. And that's all the minigames. One of Nintendo's biggest aspects of their Mario spin-offs being extra ways of playing whatever you're playing and giving it more replay value. These minigames encourage you to keep playing and get better, as you have to start with easy mode and work your way up to the special level after winning the star level, which is the hard difficulty. These minigames are a lot of fun to mess around with. My favorites consist of Bowser Pinball, Bomb Derby, Wall Ball, and Piranha Panic. Everything else is all good fun, but I see myself going back to these more often. Although when you start up a new file, and if you haven't played through the challenge mode yet, you'll have Piranha Panic, Gem Catch, and Barrel Bashers available, while you have to unlock the others through challenge mode. Great minigames and one of many ways to take a break from traditional baseball, but there's one more to talk about. The Toy Field has made its grand return from Superstar Baseball, and there's more to play around with, so let's talk about it. We can play Toy Field as a solo player in a free-for-all with 3 other players, or team up and create a 2v2 with whoever you want. On paper, the gameplay itself is pretty simple, but there's a bit of complexity surrounding it. The first batter is randomly picked, and every single pitch is determined through a slot machine and the 3 fielders, the speed, direction, and item the batter can use against the fielders, all of it being randomized. When the batter hits the ball, the fielders must fight to the death. Whoever has possession of the ball by the end of the timer will be up next to bat. But if no one has possession by the end of the timer, whoever was just at bat gets another turn next round, and the best way to do that is to hope that you get a good item to use against the fielders. This goes on for either 10, 20, or 30 rounds. Whoever has the most coins at the end wins. It can be a very intense game if things don't go your way, but it's a blast to play, and without a doubt the most unique mode in the game. So after Toy Field, there are 2 miscellaneous modes, being Practice Mode, where you can learn the controls and figure out what control scheme you want to play with and learn the ins and outs of Sluggers, as well as the Records Mode, which is deeper than it should be. Check out your minigame and Toy Field high scores, the list of MVPs and star players when playing against Bowser in Challenge Mode, Take a look at all the team rosters, a list of badges you get for playing through challenge mode, and we can even watch the cutscenes and credits. So there's some value with the records mode, especially if you need a break from Noki striking you out 5 times in a row. It's pretty obvious that this is the version of Nintendo I want in modern times, the company who cares and puts love into the products they make, as well as said product being of high quality. The big cast of characters, extra modes to play, some great environments to play on, and tons of overall value. Mario Baseball is the only sport that hasn't been touched in recent memory with a new original game. And no, Mario Sports Superstars doesn't count. I would love to see this game or Superstar Baseball get remade sometime in the future, because I don't trust Nintendo of today to make a new and fun Mario Baseball game of this caliber. Look at how they neutered strikers with a smile on their face. Imagine what they would do to baseball. It's a scary thought, and I hate that I kinda don't want it to happen, so Sluggers and Superstars can rest in peace. Something Strikers was able to do for 15 years until 2022, and now it'll never be the same unless somehow Nintendo is able to get their act together in the coming years. But I'm not gonna lie, I don't have much hope in that, because I believe the chances of that are very low. I love Mario Super Sluggers. It's a top 3 favorite Mario sports game, right behind Mario Tennis Power Tour and Mario Sports Mix. I can come back to this game on a whim and have a great time regardless of my mood, and that definitely goes for this billboard, because I haven't seen a single car drive by, so that means I wasted the rest of my money, and I don't know how I'm gonna get out. Although I did hear some gunshots when I was setting up earlier, so I think it's a good idea for me to stay the night here.
Oops! Wario time! Yeah!